The Treetop Twins, Wilderness Adventures. The Twins Track a Tiger by Cressida Cowell. Well, there are 5 betangs in this book. Can you find them all? The moon shone down on the dusky plains and the grasses hummed with busy insects. The Treetop family have taken their time machine back to Australia 3,000 years ago. They had walked across the grasslands as the sun set, following the footprints of what they hoped was a Tasmanian tiger, and they were now approaching a forest. For a whole week, they had been tracking the footprints, but they still hadn't found any tigers, and tomorrow they had to go home. They had seen beautiful yellow-tailed black cockatoos. They had seen little Tasmanian betangs. Hopping beside them. They had seen the cutest little baby pygmy possum, so small it was curled up inside a great big leaf. But they couldn't find a Tasmanian tiger, however hard they looked. "I can't believe we came all this way and we didn't find a tiger," said Alfie. "And I've lost my lucky crystal," said Tulip, sadly half asleep. Tulip had a little crystal stone that she was very fond of, and it had gone missing 3 days earlier. They had searched their treetop home upside down, but they still hadn't found it. "I knew we'd never find a Tasmanian tiger as soon as I lost my crystal." "That isn't very scientific," Tulip laughed Asha. "I'm sure it's nothing to do with your crystal. It's just bad luck." "It may still turn up," said Professor Penelope. "Sometimes it is only when you stop looking that you find things in the end. It'll all feel better in the morning." But the Treetop family were a little sad as they arrived back at their tree house and went to bed under the brilliant stars of the Australian night sky. However, just as Professor Pablo was closing his eyes, he heard a strange sound. It was an eerie yip-yap, a bit like a cough and a bit like a bark. "Tasmanian tigers," said Professor Pablo, opening his eyes and sitting up in bed. "No, Pablo," replied Professor Penelope sleepily. "Look, there's a spotted bowerbird nesting in the branches above us. Bowerbirds imitate the sounds of other creatures. We are disturbing the bowerbird, so it is making that noise to frighten us off." "So it is," said Professor Pablo, disappointed. "I thought it sounded a bit close." But then, just as he was falling asleep once more, there was that strange noise again, except it seemed far away this time. "Yip yap!" Professor Pablo got out his binoculars, and sure enough, padding out of the dense forest came 6 Tasmanian tigers, walking straight towards the tree where the Treetop family were sleeping. "Wake up, everyone," whispered Professor Pablo. In the bright moonlight, they could see the creatures clearly. They looked like large wolves with stripes across their backs and tails hanging stiffly behind them. The tigers stayed underneath the tree for hours, giving the Treetop family plenty of time to take photographs and make notes. They got all the information they needed before the tigers finally padded off into the night again. "That was amazing," said Ted. "It was almost as if the tigers knew it was our last night." So everyone fell asleep, tired but happy. They had seen the Tasmanian tigers, and even Tulip felt a little less sad about losing her lucky crystal. It would all feel better in the morning. Nighttime in the Australian forest, long, long ago. In her nest up above where the Treetop family were sleeping, the female spotted bowerbird was setting down on the tree-patterned eggs. On the ground below, a little object shone in the moonlight, an object that 3 days earlier the male spotted bowerbird had picked up when he was looking for shiny things to decorate his nest with. It was Tulip's missing crystal. The bowerbird had dropped it onto the ground below. It would be the first thing she saw when she climbed down from the treehouse in the morning. Wasn't that lucky? Sometimes it is only when you stop looking that you find things in the end. The end.